Was there any part of you that was like, I can't put myself through this again?
I can't. I don't even want to be in this environment anymore. This was the biggest upset of the Olympic Games. Like, everyone thought I was going to win, right? I still have to put that 10,000 hours in. No one's going to just give me a gold medal because I earned it in track and field. Failure is a necessary ingredient in the recipe for success.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy.
Thank you so much for having me. I don't know, Ashley, how I feel about going after your dad, though. I was in the back like I should have went first. Right? He was just so compelling. I was in the back with my mouth open the entire time. And I just got to say, because my family has always been so important to me, has played such an important role in my life. And so when I see your dad, I see why you are who you are.
Thank you.
And I got to give a big shout out to my mama,
Yes.
who is here.
Yes.
Ma Duchesne in the house.
Beautiful, Mom. Hey, Mom.
You know, it's funny because when you're young, you feel like you go through a stage where it's like not cool when your parents are everywhere. Then you go through a stage of life where you realize having your parents is like the most important thing in your life.
Yes.
My parents managed my career. My mom traveled all over the world with me. And so to see your dad, just to know, like, you know, it's the same experience that you had that I had. And thank you, Mom, too, for just all the love, all the support, all the things. And we still rocking it.
Yes.
Even now at 40, so.
That is amazing. That was one of the things that really attracted me to your story, was seeing how critical family is to you. And I think when you are in a position where you don't always know who to trust, having a place where you can always trust just gives you that reprieve. So how have you kind of navigated that? Like growing up, because you were doing sports from when you were very young. When did you start running?
Yeah, so I started running when I was 7 years old. So I am from Kingston, Jamaica. I knew it. I felt that Jamaican vibe right there. I felt it as soon as I walked out. So I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. For those of you, I'm sure most of you know, track and field is the most popular sport in Jamaica. So, So as early as I can remember, I wanted to be an Olympian because the entire country would shut down to watch the Olympics, Merlene, Auntie, so many of the greats. And before I even knew I was fast, I wanted to be an Olympian. And so I started when I was 7. By the time I was 9, I told my teacher I would be an Olympic champion.
Wow.
And like your dad said, right, it's like you have this vision, you speak it, and you go after it. And so I was very fortunate. My dad was a phenomenal soccer player who unfortunately didn't fulfill his full potential because of the times. Like, Jamaica just didn't have the infrastructure, and he had a single mom. And so when he saw the potential in me, I mean, him and my mom just poured everything into me to be able to live my dream. And it just was an awesome journey to be able to experience that with my family, at my side. And I'm just so grateful.
That is amazing. That is beautiful. Well, first off, I also want to say that I'm honored to be sitting on the stage with a legend, a living legend.
Thank you.
Because you held the record for 19 years.
19 years, yeah.
How first of all, when you ran your record-setting race, was the intent to set a record or to win the race?
It's a really good question. So traditionally, when I would race, the intent would be to win. But for that race, I was really chasing the record. And I remember it was in 2006, so exactly 19 years ago, the record was broken on the actual anniversary of the record. And I had been running really well that season. So in track and field, you do about 15 to 20 races a year. And so I was winning the whole season, and my dad kept telling me, he's like, San, the reason you haven't broken this record is because you keep looking at the clock. He's like, it's slowing you down. I'm like, how can that slow me down? Like, it's just my eyeballs. It's not, He's like, well, and he said to me, do you promise me that on this final race, you will just run through the finish line and not look at the clock? I promise you, you'll be happy when you cross the finish line. And so I execute this race. And something else your dad said, I'm going to keep referencing your dad because it was just so powerful.
Yeah.
But it was the easiest race I ran of my career.
Wow.
It was the easiest race I ran of my career. And it just, there's something about when you're doing what God has called you to do, doing it with faith, there's an ease. It was just so, it was like the perfect, everything was just perfect. My mom was there. I was in Athens, Greece. And so it's been 19 years that the record stood, the fastest Americans to ever run the 400. And so Sydney McLaughlin-Ravoni, who is a generational talent, Had to work, honey. She had to put that work in. But she broke the record, and I couldn't think of a better ambassador for our sport. She's phenomenal, and so now she's the fastest American ever to run the 400.
That's amazing. And I also saw on social media you were celebrating her for that.
Yeah.
So when you found out that she'd broken your record, how did you feel? Was there any sense of, oh man, or was it instantly, I'm so excited?
So there was two feelings. It's so funny because people would always ask me, like, what is it like to be the American record holder? Like, what does it feel like? And I couldn't really put it into words until Sydney broke the record. And I think what was really cool about being the record holder for so long is that although I had, retired and been out of the sport for about, 7, 8, 9 years, you still feel like you're a huge part of the sport because you're this kind of invisible giant that everyone's racing, and they're taking their best shot at this time every year. The best American lines up trying to beat me, even though I'm not still in the race. And so that's a really unique experience to have. It was really cool. So on the one hand, I was like, oh, it kind of sucks to lose that. But at the same time, I'm a fan of the sport. Yeah. And so I think we all want to see progress. Like, I want to see people getting better. I want to see the younger generation getting faster. I love the innovation in our sport. And so, it was a quick and then yay, good for her, But it was a really awesome way to still be a part of my event for so long.
That's incredible. So at a young age, you decide to be an Olympian.
Yes.
After you decide to be an Olympian, you decide to be an Olympian. Did you believe that was possible when you made the decision?
Not fully. So I always tell people that, so of course when I was 9, that's like saying you're going to be a fireman or you're going to land on the moon or whatever. It's like this big thing that you just think it's somewhat possible, but you don't know what the path is going to be to get there. And so I always say, and my dad would always actually say, my daughter's going to be a world beater, this year 1 year, she's going to be a world beater. Yeah. And so I always say my dad believed before I believed and kind of made me believe it, And so I think when I really believed it was possible was when I was in high school, when I started to put all the work together. I was doing 1,000 sit-ups every night. I was doing stadium stairs. I was studying film, and I became the best prep athlete in U.S. history. I won the 2, the 4, broke the records, all the things.
Hold on, we can't just zoom by that. Because, sis, I did 10 sit-ups yesterday. And I've heard you say you've done 1,000 before.
Yeah.
And I said, since I'm a sit with my good sister, I'm going to do 20. But 1,000 never entered my mind. So 1,000 when did you start doing 1,000 sit-ups a night? Let's slow walk through the preparation because a lot of people celebrate the gold, but I like to celebrate the activity that gets to the result. Yeah. Because if you can do the activity, the result becomes inevitable. So what was your preparation like, and what age did that start?
Yeah, so my in high school was when my junior year. So I was like I told you, I was born in Jamaica, competing, winning, everything was just coming very easily to me. We migrated to the States when I was 12, and I continued running, continued to do really well. My junior year in high school, I was still dominating, but I suffered my first injury. So I had a hamstring injury, and I went and still tried to compete, but I didn't compete as well as I had been in previous years. So my dad says to me that summer before my senior year, he says, "San, do you want to be the best?" And I'm like, of course, why else would I be doing this? And he was like, no, do you really want to be the best? And I realized in that moment that being the best meant I had to be intentional. It wasn't just going to happen because I had this great talent or great genes. It was going to happen because I was going to give it my all. And so going into my senior season, my dad and I sat together and we were like, okay, here's the plan. Here's what you're going to do to have the best season you've ever had. And that meant doing 1,000 sit-ups every day. And that was, and I like that you asked that question, right? Because for all of us, that commitment looks different. Yes. And I remember, I'll never forget my senior year, I was in a class, my economics class, and I'm telling my teacher I'm doing 1,000 sit-ups every day. And he's like, isn't there a point of diminishing return? Like, why do you need to do so many? And I said to him, because that's my commitment to myself. Wow. When I stand on that line after knowing I did 1,000 sit-ups every day, who gonna beat me?
Hey, give it up for that.
Who gonna beat me?
So your confidence was built in your preparation. Exactly. Because you knew you were doing more than anyone else.
Exactly.
And that's how you actually outlast, and actually outperform your competition.
Exactly. And so my senior year, I started doing 1,000 sit-ups, and it became like always this point of like conversation. But for me, it was my commitment to excellence. Like even if 500 was going to be enough, I was still going to do 1,000 because I wanted to make sure I had done more than what I thought my competition was doing.
And did you come up with that, or did your dad tell you to do that? Okay, so your dad was your original coach.
No.
No.
So I always had a coach, but my dad was always like, I guess like my mentor, like just all the other things. My dad was my sports psychologist before I got one. He was, and my high school coach, you know how high schools are. He wasn't like, he was a teacher, so he was learning with me like, he had this great talent. And so my dad kind of came alongside him, helping him doing all the research. But my dad was never technically my coach. He wasn't giving me my workouts on the track, but he was at every single practice. And he was there, like, doing all the research and making sure, like, he was juicing me, like, making sure, juicing, what fruits and vegetables, make you stronger, all that kind of stuff. But he wasn't technically my coach.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. This is so good. Are y'all picking up what she's putting down? This is so good. And your preparation included doing 1,000 sit-ups a day from your junior year in high school. And how long did that last?
Oh, my whole career. So in 2012, the race where you guys saw I was doing 2,000 sit-ups every day that year.
And when did it go from 1,000 to 2,000?
Just in that year. So I don't know if we're going to talk about 2008 and all that stuff. I know we're going to cover a lot of ground, but I think we should wait and I'll tell you. So how do you want to do it? The reason I committed to doing more was after 2008 when I didn't win gold.
Okay, so I love that because you're doing 1,000 sit-ups a day.
Yes.
Everything's working out for you, and then you face some opposition.
Yes.
And it forced you to make a really personal decision about how to move forward. Mm-hmm. So tell us about what happened when you did not originally win gold.
I'll tell you the whole story, the book story, everything.
Give us what you feel. What's in your heart?
Okay. So this is always a hard story for me to talk about. Yeah. And I was telling Ashley, this is my first time back outside. I have a 3-month-old.
Yeah.
So I have been at home with babies, but this is my passion. I love speaking to people. I'm a people person, so I love being around people. So super excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me and extending this opportunity to me. But in 2008, I was favored to win gold in the Olympics. I had won every single race that season and felt like I was on the precipice of finally fulfilling this individual gold medal moment. And it just wasn't meant to be. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't meant to be. The night before the race, I couldn't sleep. It was just an awful experience. I don't feel like going too much more into it today.
That's perfect, yeah.
It's in my book, The Full Story. But I was facing a lot of challenges, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And the only race I lost in 2008 was the Olympic final. The only race. These are women I beat all year. Yeah. And the thing that's really challenging about that is you cross the finish line and you immediately realize you got to wait 4 more years to possibly have the opportunity again, because most people only go to 1 Olympics. This was my second. So I would have to go to a 3rd Olympics to realize this dream. And so it was overwhelmingly crushing. Because I had seen this vision for myself, for my life for so long. And for it not to materialize when it looked like it was going to was very challenging. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, where everything just feels like it's setting up for a win. You've done all the work, and then it just doesn't happen. And you're like, what more could I have done?
Yeah.
And so that's where, kind of leading into, I just doubled down. Like, I recommitted. I did more,
Now, that's so good, and I really appreciate you being transparent. Let's clap it up for that. Mm-hmm. And make sure, and tell them the name of your book so they can get the book.
Yes, my book is called Chasing Grace.
Chasing Grace.
Yeah, what I learned about God, like running the 400, so yeah.
And we'll email you guys out the link to that book and put it in the school group so that you all can buy it. Please, who's going to buy the book? Okay, I love that. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to go back to when you lost that race.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you that was like, because you said you have to wait another 4 years, and you lost to people who you'd previously beat.
Over and over and over again.
Over and over and over again. So in one race, you was lapping these women.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Was there any part of you that was like, I can't put myself through this again?
Absolutely. So if you guys are familiar with the Olympics and stuff, so we have the individual events, so the 400, and then we have the 4x4, the team relay. So obviously I'm a part of that, for my team. And so the 400, I think I had like 2 or 3 days, Mom, like in between the final. It was 2 days. And I was like, I can't do it. I got to go home. Like, I can't. I don't even want to be in this environment anymore. It was like the commentator, Otto Bolden, who is now my colleague, he said, this was the biggest upset of the Olympic Games. Like, everyone thought I was going to win. And to make it even more crushing, I'm in China. I was in Beijing. Chinese people are very, matter of fact, very forward, and so I come off the race, I'm bawling, and I kind of gather myself, and I have to go back out to the podium, and the man says to me, what happened? We had your name on gold medal. What happened?
No way. And what's interesting, when I hear you tell this story, it's so funny because you did lose gold, but you didn't lose the race.
I won a bronze, but it took me a very long time to say I won a bronze because it felt like so long I had lost the gold.
Yeah.
Right? But I still was the 3rd fastest woman in the world on that day.
Yeah.
But
light work.
Light work. But it certainly felt like a really crushing loss, and it was really hard for me to rebound from that. And so 2 days later, of course, I have family there. I go to my mom and dad. They're like, look, you got to get back on the horse. Like, God has great things in store for you. And so, actually, and it might be one of my most iconic races, is when we get the baton behind the Russians in 2008. The first time Team USA gets the baton behind that I'm competing, right? So most years for the 4x4, get the stick in front. It's like a victory lap, Team USA in the books. I get the baton. We're behind Russia. And so I am like, look here, girl, I am leaving here with a gold medal. So I don't know what you about to do, but I'm about to pass you.
Yes.
And so I end up bringing on the final stages of the race. I think I passed her with like 10 meters to go. And most people who know me from the Olympics remember that moment. And so I'm so grateful that I did get back on the horse there, and I didn't shy away from the challenge, and I didn't let failure get the better of me, because that set me up for what I consider running into my fairy tale ending when I won Olympic individual gold in London in 2012.
Give it up. Now, Sanya, what do you tell yourself to go from, I just lost this big dream, to I'm going to do it again in 48 hours and win? Like, what is the internal chatter there that helped?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think it is internal chatter, but it's also equally important the people you have around you.
Yes.
And your father said that, right? Pastor Keith, he said, you got to have people around you who see sometimes the greatness in you when you don't see it for yourself.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for my mom and my dad and my coach and my now husband, who was my fiance then, I don't think I make it back out on the track on my own personal internal chatter, because I was devastated. I mean, devastated, like world-ended devastated, And so, it was the people around me that really picked me up. And so I think we got to be mindful of those people around us. Make sure they're not people who are jealous of you or who don't see the greatness in you, because there's going to be times in your journey where you're going to need to lean on people.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to do it on your own. You know that, Ashley. We got to have a village. And so it was certainly my village that got me through.
That is so good. That is so good. And you mentioned the jealousy that comes with you being so iconic in your field, doing the competition. How did you navigate? Because I know you have a strong family. One thing that I've transparently struggled with is, how do you navigate trusting people as you are ascending in your career?
When you find out, tell me.
We may have to help each other with that.
No, it's a really good question. So obviously in sports, it is a very, it's clear, right? It's like, I want to be first, and so to do that, I have to beat you, right? Like, it's not like in corporate where we can kind of win together, and it's like you don't notice we're competing. Like in this, no, girl, you got to get second because I'm trying to get first. So it's tough. You got to lose for me to win. So it's very hard, and it's so funny because throughout my career, and then, ladies, to add a little bit of sauce to that, imagine I'm competing with these women all year, and then we come together as a team. It's very tricky because You know what I'm saying?
We know.
It's only
We
one
know.
queen. You know what I'm saying? And then you
Yes.
gotta. So but it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot, and I think what I really appreciate, and I learned from those experiences, is that the stronger my teammates were, was the better we all were.
Yes.
So it allowed me to respect and appreciate the greatness in my teammates / competitors.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dee Dee Trotter, get out the blocks, great. That we appreciate that on first leg, right?
Yeah.
She would push me and challenge me through the race. I'm grateful for her on my relay team. Allison Felix, the same thing. All of my competitors, when we became teammates, I would value their strengths. And so I think it taught me how to work with people, how to appreciate people's strength, and to always see the value in teamwork. Because I think a lot of times I've done other things through my career where I feel like sometimes people don't understand the value of teamwork and understand that we get stronger together. Sometimes people come in and everybody thinks, oh, I could do this by myself, or no. Even if all that is true, we are still stronger together.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And so you then go and you have this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now take us to the race that you did win in your individual sport.
Yeah.
When did the 2,000 sit-ups start in this process?
Yeah, so 2008 happens. I win a bronze. 2009, still struggling. 2009, I get a sports psychologist, which was a huge unlock for me, because I realized that I was carrying a lot of baggage when it came to like race finals and executing at the biggest stages. So I said, you know what, I have a coach that is helping guide me on the track. I got someone in the weight room. Why would I not get someone to help me with the most important part in competition? Because everybody on the track is physically prepared. Yeah. The person that wins the Olympic finals is the one who is mentally toughest and mentally prepared.
Yes.
So I got a sports psychologist in 2009, and at that time too, because you guys know we're in a different time now, where mental health and mental wellness, that was not a thing.
Yeah.
You just we don't care what's going on with you, girl. You just push through. Now people can say, oh wait, I'm mentally not feeling good. I don't want to run,
Yes. Yeah.
Like that was not a thing when I was competing.
Yeah.
And so I got a sports psychologist, unlocked a lot of, it changed the game for me because I was able to bring all of that goodness to major competition. So I win my first world title in 2009. I'm thinking, okay, I got this thing figured out. Everything's great. 2010, season-ending injury. So I pulled my quad muscle, season-ending injury. I also got married that year. So I was like, whatever, I'll push through that and get back to it in 2011. 2011, my hardest season ever. I had recovered physically from the injury, but not mentally. I wasn't able to push myself the same way I had before. And so my sports psychologist and I worked on it all season. I didn't start to get it right until the end of the year, right? So I started to run well at the end of 2011. So now I'm in the off season of 2012, the Olympic run-up. And I'm like, I'm about to give this everything I have because I'm not going to leave it to chance.
Yes.
So this off season of 2012, I start doing 2,000 sit-ups every day, 5 days a week. I'm training with the boys. So I had a great training group with Coach Clyde Hart. Jeremy Warner was the Olympic champ on the men's side in the 400. So I am literally like running with the boys, 2,000 sit-ups every day, resting, eating, doing all the things because I knew when I stood on that start line in London, I was going to have to face that same demon that was going to come back from 2008.
Yeah.
Right? No matter how prepared I was going to have to say, I got to overcome this failure on the same stage in front of 90,000 people.
Man.
I needed to do everything that I could. So it's in 2011 to 12, I started doing 2,000 sit-ups every day and all the other things, and it all paid off.
And at this time, give it up, it all paid off. And at this time, you are married.
Yeah.
Okay, and so how is your husband accommodating this level of discipline?
Yeah.
Or is he supporting you?
Yeah.
What's his role in kind of making this
That's a great question.
Yeah.
People always ask me, what was it like being married to another elite athlete? So my husband is a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Say that.
Right.
So he was an athlete. We met at the University of Texas. So we both, started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah.
Shooting in the gym together. And so he got it, right? Like he is also, if he were here, my husband would say, I was very fortunate. My mom and dad, set up a infrastructure for me to be great. My husband didn't have that same setup, right? So he would always say, like, he was grateful to kind of get into my
Yeah.
fold, because he was like, what are sit-ups and all, like, juicing and all this stuff? And so he loved it. You know,
Yeah.
it elevated him and elevated his game so much, because he now focused on a new level that he
Yeah.
didn't think was possible. So, I mean, he totally understood it. You know, he was my best friend. We would do sit-ups together. He would come to practices when he could. And so I don't know if I could have had a partner that wasn't an elite athlete, because
Yeah.
I don't think they would have understood that level of commitment.
Yeah.
But because he's playing at the highest level as well, he completely understood and supported me 100%.
So it sounds like your environment, from your family to who
Yeah.
you married,
Yeah.
also still accommodated you
Absolutely.
being a champion.
Yeah, 100%.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. So we are going to go to questions. So if you have yep, okay, y'all are ready. Y'all are ready.
Fast like me.
Right, fast like me. This has been incredible. What
Thank
would
you.
you say to the person, because we didn't even get a chance to get into
Yeah.
the rest of your career and all of your accomplishments, so you all have to go and get her book. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is, in transitioning into business,
Yeah.
what would you say is the number one principle that has helped you to also have success in the business world?
I would say number one is that I'm most grateful for is my understanding of delayed gratification,
Yes.
right?
So good.
Yeah, because, and especially it was even more obvious in my life, because I had to wait 4 years, right? So it's not like the Super Bowl that comes
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
Like, I had to put in all this work for one moment every 4 years.
Yes.
And so I found the same thing in business, right? Like, you're planting all of these seeds, and people say, oh, you're Olympic gold medalist. It might get me in the door, but I got to put in the
Yes.
work to stay there, right? I still have to put that 10,000 hours in. No one's going to just give me a gold medal because I
Yeah.
earned it in track and field. I still got to work my butt off to grow my fashion line, to grow Mommy Nation, all the things I'm working on. And so I think for me, what gives me that drive and motivation is I know that even when people aren't watching, this work is adding up.
Yeah.
Right? God is going to add his supernatural to my natural, and if I just keep doing the work, it's going to pay off. And I think that for me has been the greatest principle that I hold on to every day, that sustains my drive to be great in business as well.
That's incredible. And tell us a little bit about your business as we
Yeah.
go into questions. What was your transition like? So
Yeah.
you decide to retire, and then what business do you start first, and what are
Yeah.
your businesses now?
Yeah, so my final race of my career in 2016, I pulled my hamstring muscle, and I didn't make the Olympic team for the first time. I competed and not made a team. And my now colleague, Lewis Johnson, interviews me, and he says, Sanya, you've done, and everyone knew I was retiring that year because I had a really bad injury to my foot, all this stuff. So he says, you've dominated on the track, what will you do next? And I was prepared. So I told him, I said, I am going to write a book. I am going to start a family. And I said, one more thing. It's been so many years now, I forgot my little story. My mommy brain. I was going to write a book.
Correspondent?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Got you, girl.
I said, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to start a family. And I'm going to, I would love to start, I want to become a broadcaster. And so that very next day, NBC called, and they're like, are you serious? Would you really consider coming in the booth? I said, I said it, didn't I? Yes. And so the funny thing is, I had started this season with the goal of going to Rio, my 4th Olympics as an athlete, ended up going to Rio as a broadcaster.
Wow.
And I'm now in my 10th year with NBC.
Amazing.
So I'm a broadcaster with NBC. Thank you. I am a Nike brand ambassador, so another quick story there. And I tell you these stories because I think a lot of times we don't realize the opportunities are in front of us to be able to parlay things that may have not existed before. So I was signed to Nike in 2004 and did 13 years with them, 12, 13 years with them as an athlete. And I realized a lot of times Nike would reach out to me to do events. I couldn't go because I was training.
Yeah.
Right? My priority at the time was to compete well and race well. So I created this whole deck. I'll create a deck in 2 seconds. I got a deck for you. And I was like, look, I think I would be even more valuable to you guys upon retirement because now I can show up. I can do the kids' clinics. I can do all these things. And they hadn't signed an athlete. I think the last athlete they had was Carl Lewis that they kept on post track and field. And so I presented myself, told them what I would do, and I'm now in my 21st year with Nike as a brand ambassador.
Come on.
And so I have NBC, Nike, And then I have 2 businesses quickly. So I started a company 3 years ago. My husband and I kept thinking we wanted to go into business together. What do I want to do? What feels very authentic to me now, right? Because always sports felt like I was born to do it, and it just came so natural to me. So like, what do I want to do now? So I love, 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 love family. I love coordinating my family. Y'all got to follow me on social media to see the looks.
Yes.
And so we started a coordinated family pajama line called Coordinates. And so we do really cool Christmas pajamas. And the brand is evolving. I went on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I know you guys mentioned that. And we got a deal, because you know your girl was going to leave with a deal.
Yes.
And it just kind of opened and broadened my vision of what that collection and what that brand could look like. So a lot of great things in the works. We did a collaboration with Team USA, with the University of Texas, really great things. And then the last thing, because you know I'm Jamaican, so I got 7 jobs, is I also founded a company called Mommy Nation, which is an organization. So we're a virtual community focused on supporting Black moms on their motherhood journey. We have now transitioned to a full nonprofit organization where we raise money, and we've helped 20, 30 women who are homeless, who have children. And so that is my passion project. I really want to continue to support, because when I became a mom, I was like, well, damn.
Yeah.
This, like, I thought the 400 was hard. This motherhood thing, I can't imagine moms who don't have the support, I don't know. So it's like, that's my passion. Like, how can we help, especially Black women who are mothers, who want to continue to dream, who want to continue to live in their full purpose. So Mommy Nation is my foundation. It's been about 7 years doing that. So yeah, that's it.
I love that.
Thank you.
And I have a 5-year-old, so we're both local. I'll do something with you with Mommy Nation. We'll do something
100%.
together.
I love that.
Yeah,
Thank
that'll
you.
be awesome. One of the things that I'll say is that you are just such an example of resilience. Okay. And I don't know if you all caught it, but every time there was a goal, right after it, there was a what? A plan. There was a plan, and then there was a decision even before all of that happens together. So just thank you for being such a great example.
Thank you.
So we want to give you all time for questions. We have a couple. Now, let me explain.
I'll be quick.
Let me give some ground rules, because y'all be cutting up. We got guests here. We got to act right. Now, when you get to the mic, you say, hello, my question is, okay? You can say what your business is. My name is, but not a pitch. Hi, my name is Ashley. I run a company called Speak Your Way to Cash. We help experts. My question is, y'all got it? Everybody got it? Say got it.
Got it.
Now, y'all know we got all this top flight security around here. Okay, so you go first. It's on you, sis. I'm counting on you.
You're good. Hi, my name is Bryn. I help athletes win. I am a mental performance coach, so I love that you talked about sports psychology. I also ran the 400, so when you said I'm fast like you, I wish I was fast like you. But anyway, the point of my question was, you already answered one of my questions, so my question was, what would your words be that you would say to, and I know you're not an athlete of today, right, but what would you say to an athlete of today? Because I find that high performers are very big on the physical aspect of their sport, and though they want that mental game, but more when they're kind of in a moment of crisis. So how do you enroll them? And like you said, it's important, but sort of relate it to their results.
Okay, so I feel like there were 2 things that you were asking. Okay. One, was it what would I say to an athlete of today?
Yes.
To be able to kind of balance all the things, to be able to perform at their best?
Let me restate.
Yeah,
what would you say to an athlete to get them to value their mental health and performance as much as their physical health?
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Ashley.
That's a great question.
Well done.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Great question. So I think, or I know, because I've been there and experienced it, that every athlete can relate to the fact that, hopefully, this is how I look at it. So when you start training, it feels to me, like in the fall, we would do like our fall training. Let's say we train for a total of like 6-7 months before we start competing. That's 100% physical, right? Like you dragging your body out there, going out there, just trying to do the work to get your body prepared. There's, of course, a mental aspect to that because you got to motivate yourself to go out there. But there is no doubt in my mind that every single athlete who has competed at the highest level understands that when you stand on the start line of a competition, it switches. It's no longer, it starts 100% zero, then it keeps going 90-10, 80-20, where the mental starts to play more and more. The workouts get harder. You got to tap into your mental. When you line up, especially at the Olympics, we're talking about 80-20. 20% physical, 80% mental, right? And so I think making that correlation to athletes where they understand, yes, there are parts of training where it is majority physical.
Yeah.
But when you want to pull the best out of yourself, when you're lined up with everybody else who is equally yoked, it's going to be a mental game. And that's where you got to put your energy so that way you're not hoping you got everything in the toolkit for that. You've already prepared yourself to be able to execute.
So good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Spicita.
Hi, my name is Spicita Jackson, and I am the founder of TaxBus 365. Money mastery is my thing, and I help people just live a life of abundance without any noise or drama. Okay, so listen, I'm also coined as myself as the money mayor. I've run for an office before, and I've lost.
I'm
And
sorry, you coined yourself. I don't know why I'm not hearing that word.
I say the money mayor because
Money
I
mayor,
run for
okay,
mayor
okay.
of a city. And so it was me kind of trying to embrace this loss at some point, right? So here's my question, and it's tied to that because I found it difficult myself. How do you deal with failure that others see as success? Like your whole thing, I had a whole bunch of people saying, I ran a great race.
Okay. Now
Okay.
we gonna stop there so we can get the question.
Okay.
How do you deal with
Yes.
failure that
Other
seems to others as success?
That's a great question
good
because
question.
I feel that deeply. And a part of the story I didn't finish telling you guys was when I had won the bronze in Beijing, and I told you the Asian gentleman came to me and said what he said, and I kind of broke back down. I ended up on the podium with bloodshot red eyes because I was crying so much. And at the time, we didn't have social media, so when people wanted to send you messages, they would email you. I got hundreds of emails from Americans saying, what a disgrace, you are so ungrateful, you were on the podium looking so sad, and that's to your point. They saw it as a success, but for me, it was failure. Right? And I had to understand and realize that there are few, not everybody is going to fly at the same level that you fly.
Yes.
People are going to see, like, what looks like success to them is like, you're not even halfway there yet. And I think that for you, that is for you to understand that and be able to say, my sports psychologist always say, go into emotional neutral. Where's the woman that, yes. You know, he would say, don't get too worked up. Don't go up, don't go low. Emotional neutral. Because what does it really matter what people are saying? What does it really matter? You stay right here, you keep doing the work until you hit the goal that you have. So I just think that's a personal thing, and you have to understand that not everybody understands what your success, what your standard of success is, and that's okay. You know, but you just keep on pushing until you get to where you want to be.
So good. Thank you so much. Laisha.
Hi, my name is Laisha Murray. I am the unapologetic leadership coach. We get you promoted without another degree or certification. And so my question is, you have a lot of family, and your family's all a part of your business, and you have a lot of first gens. Like, you're the one that did all of these things, and it feels like the family, without you, the family is kind of like that foundation. And so sometimes I feel like I am carrying everyone, and if I fail, similar to how you felt that you failed, what do you do to regroup, realign, and then teach them how to show up for you so that you can be that dreamer?
Okay, so is the question when you are in a position where your family works for you, works with you, and maybe
Or depends on you.
Okay, so when you're in a position where your family depends on you, how do you also teach them how to support you and not have too much pressure on your plate
Yes,
as well?
ma'am.
Okay.
Another good question. I think what I learned throughout my journey was, and I was very fortunate that my family, I always felt like everyone in my family, the roles that I put them in, they were good in those roles.
Come on, somebody.
I think a lot of times we put people in places where we know they're not going to be good,
Yes,
and we
ma'am.
set them up for failure.
Okay.
And for us to be disappointed as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, my mom has expertise in travel. So when I brought her on my team, she did all of my management stuff, got me all across the world. And of course, you see how she's dressed, so she was also like my style. Look at my
Very
mama.
fly, mom.
Look at my mama.
Oh my goodness, our moms are the same. My mom is very fly as well. I love this
Right?
for us.
My sister is a trained cosmetologist, so guess who does my hair for all of my stuff? Right? And so I think the most important part to start is to put your family in positions where they can win. on the team, right? Because sometimes we feel gassed because we need a body, but the person doesn't have the skill sets to be able to do that, and then there's frustration across the board. Then I think for me, as far as like helping them understand how to support me, I felt like we learned that as we went. Of course, there were challenges because my mom is working for me, so I'm kind of the boss, and it's hard sometimes to like tell your mama, no, that's not gonna work, Sharon, it ain't gonna work. We're not doing that, But I think what we did really well was when we were working, we would work, and when it was family time, it was family time. Okay. And so we could handle what business stuff was going on and then turn that switch off, and mommy would cook curry chicken, and we would watch TV, and we're not talking about the work stuff anymore. And we kind of learned how to support each other in a way together. And I think the foundation of love that we have was always so, like, there's nothing that could come in between our family. Yeah. Like if something weren't to work in the work and I had to fire my mom, I ain't playing nobody. It wouldn't matter, right? Because the relationship and bond we have has nothing to do with work. It's far deeper than that. So I think we learned as we went along, and I always tried to put my family in positions where I thought they could really win and grow and support me, and vice versa. And I think that was how we were able to win. Thank you.
That is amazing. So it's not that we just hire Cousin Ray Ray because he Cousin Ray Ray. We got to make sure Cousin Ray Ray has experience and expertise to win. Exactly. That way we not mad and he not entitled.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay. Leslie.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Leslie Laura-Fields, and I am the CEO of my company called Girl Organize That Life, where I leverage my experience as a mother of 12 and retired combat veteran. I did say 12, no twins, same dad.
Clock it.
Yes, Leslie.
No twins, same dad. Okay, what is your question, Leslie? That is so funny.
Yeah, we got to stay focused. I'm trying to stay in direction here. But I help other executive level women who may struggle with burnout to pivot with poise despite the noise. What I heard you say, my takeaway from you is that you did not allow defeat to have the last word. So I actually have a request versus a question. It's being recorded. I have, of my 12 children, 11 have run track, and I currently have 4 runners right now, and they're 6, 8, 13, and 15. Nice. If you could just say a statement to them to encourage them if there is a time where there's public defeat and how they're able to.
Well, I would just say that failure is a necessary ingredient in the recipe for success. And so the minute you embrace failure and understand that you fail forward, then nothing can hold you back. So just keep on keeping on. Keep on giving your best on the track. And no matter how far you make it, I always say this, sports was my greatest life teacher. And so stay in sports for as long as you can stay in sports, because it teaches you how to overcome failures. It teaches you to have integrity, how to work hard, all of those things, and it makes you a better human being. So all the best, little ones. Keep making mama proud.
I love that. Leslie, you was this close, but you brought it on around. I was so happy. Okay. Lenitra.
Hey, I'm Lenitra. I run an award-winning PR agency, and we have a 100% success rate at getting our clients TV, radio, or print press in 90 days or less.
Wow.
And you talked about being a record holder for so long, and then in 2008, not getting the gold. So when you're an overachiever by nature and you're used to always hitting your goals, how do you handle those seasons where you're feeling the lows? When the results don't match the effort, and what disciplines help you stay motivated to get back on track?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you stay motivated when the results don't match the effort?
I think that I always believed that the vision that I had for my life was planted by God. And so to me, that was always my motivation. I was like, God, you gave me this amazing gift, and all the work that I do to be my best is my gift back to you. And so ultimately, I always felt like Pastor Keith said when he was out here, is that like there was this vision for my life already, and all I had to do was just kind of walk into it. And I knew there were going to be challenges along the way, because at an early age, I faced some of these challenges, and I realized that if I was persistent, and I kept doing the work, that God would honor that work and that the results would come. And so I think in life, especially now, when everybody is like just expecting these microwavable results and all these things, I am even more affirmed that all good things take time. My marriage is better because we're now 20 years in. Like, life is better because I'm now, everything just is better with time. And so, you know, for me, I just take the failures as they come. And even I got a no yesterday. I reached out to someone and got a no, and I was like, no problem, because every no leads me one step closer to my yes.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
it's just proven over and over and over again. So that's how I do it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, so quick announcement. We're going to end this Q&A after we say thank you. But if you are in the Speak Your Way to Cash Mastermind, go over there to backstage, and we're going to do a group photo. But be quick, because we don't got a lot of time. And security, make sure everything happens and people get where they need to go. Okay, so we don't have time for any more questions. I'm so sorry. But I did want us all to give a huge round of applause to Sanya Richards-Ross. Thank you so much. I feel like we already know each other, but thank you so much.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the recipe.